In the heart of Ibadan, where life pulsed through crowded streets and the hum of the city was a constant backdrop, lived a man named Juma. He was a kind, quiet man with silver hair and eyes that had known both joy and heartbreak. Years ago, he had lost his wife, Amina, when she died, giving birth to their only child, Nyah. Raising Nyah alone had given Juma a reason to move forward, filling his life with a love so fierce it became his purpose. Nyah was his pride and joy, his reason for facing the world each day. Nyah grew up in the vibrant neighborhoods of Ibadan, a city girl through and through. She had inherited her mother's bright eyes and kind smile, but carried a silent fear, one that stayed buried deep within her heart. She'd always known the story of her mother's passing. Her father's love-filled accounts of Amina made her mother's spirit feel present. But the lingering shadow of her mother's fate stayed with Nyah, like a silent echo she couldn't shake. When Nyah was in her 20s, she met Justin at an art gallery in the city. Justin was an architect with a dream of reshaping Ibadan's landscape, a man whose laughter was warm and easy. From the moment they met, it was as if the city around them melted away. One night, as they walked through Ibadan's bustling downtown, Justin took her hand and looked into her eyes. "Nyah," he said softly, his voice gentle but steady. "I know this is sudden, but I've never felt this way before. I want to spend my life with you." Nyah's eyes sparkled with joy and she squeezed his hand. "I feel the same way, Justin. I don't know how or why, but it feels right, like we were meant to find each other in this city of millions." Not long after, they were married in a simple ceremony on a rooftop, overlooking the Ibadan skyline as the sun set in brilliant oranges and purples. Juma, with tears in his eyes, whispered to Nyah before the ceremony, "Your mother would be so proud of you, my daughter. She's here in spirit, watching over you." The young couple's life began with laughter and love. They talked often about their dreams, sharing plans to build a family. Justin's eyes would light up as he spoke about having children, imagining their little ones running around the city parks, learning the life and vibrancy of Ibadan from a young age. But each time he mentioned children, Nyah's heart clenched. She could feel the fear gnawing at her, her mother's fate casting a dark shadow over her dreams. One night, as they prepared dinner, Justin brought it up again. "Now, what do you think?" he asked, his voice filled with excitement. "I think we're ready. We could start a family, have a little one to share all this with." Nyah's smile faltered and she looked down, chopping vegetables in silence. Justin noticed her hesitation. He put down his spoon and walked over, touching her shoulder gently. "Nyah, is something wrong?" She took a shaky breath, realizing it was time to share the truth she'd kept hidden. "Justin," she began, her voice barely a whisper. I'm afraid. My mother. She died bringing me into this world. And ever since I was a little girl, I've had this fear that the same thing could happen to me." Justin's face softened and he pulled her into his arms. "Nyah, I had no idea," he murmured. "But listen to me. You are not your mother, and this is not her fate. Whatever it takes, we'll make sure you're safe. If it's not right for you, we can always find another way." "But what if it's not just fear?" she asked, her voice breaking. "What if this is meant to be my story too?" Justin held her close, his words fierce with determination. "No, Nyah, this is our story, and we will write it together. You have me by your side and your father. You are stronger than you know." Despite his reassurances, Nyah's fear lingered, a constant shadow. She decided to talk to her father, who had always been her source of strength. She found him in his modest apartment one rainy afternoon, his bookshelves filled with volumes he'd carefully collected over the years. "Baba," she began, sitting across from him as the rain tapped against the window. Do you think I'm strong enough to have children? Or am I cursed to follow the same path as Mama?" Juma looked at her for a long moment, sadness in his eyes. He took her hand in his voice gentle. "Nyah, my dear, your mother was the bravest woman I knew. But she wasn't afraid. She faced life with courage just like you do. You don't have to follow her path, you have your own. But Baba, what if I can't escape it? She whispered, tears in her eyes. He leaned forward, his voice steady and calm. Nyah, fear is a story we tell ourselves, but courage is the story we live. Don't let fear decide your life, my child. With her father's words echoing in her heart and Justin's unwavering support, Nyah made a choice. They would try for a child, and she would face whatever came with the courage her parents had instilled in her. When Nyah became pregnant, she felt a strange combination of joy and dread, as if she were holding her mother's spirit within her. As her due date approached, the fear began to creep back, but she clung to Justin's promise and her father's words. On a stormy night, Nyah went into labor. Justin was by her side, holding her hand as they rushed to the hospital, his face tense with worry. Outside in the waiting room, Juma paced, praying silently, the memories of Amina filling his mind. Hours passed, each one dragging slower than the last, until finally a doctor emerged. Justin and Juma jumped to their feet, searching her face for any sign of news. "Congratulations," the doctor said, a smile breaking across her face. "You have a healthy baby boy, and Nyah is safe and resting." Relief washed over Justin, and Juma felt a weight lift off his heart. They rushed in to see Nyah, who was cradling a tiny crying newborn in her arms. She looked up, tears in her eyes, and whispered, "His name is Amani. It means peace, for the peace we found tonight, despite everything." Justin held her close, brushing a tear from her cheek. "Nyah, you're the bravest woman I know. You didn't just overcome your fear. You honored your mother's memory by writing your own story." Juma, his heart swelling with pride, placed a gentle hand on his grandson's head and said softly, "Amani, you carry the strength of those before you. May you grow up knowing the courage of your mother and the legacy of her love." In that small hospital room, surrounded by love and family, Nyah's fear dissolved, replaced by the warmth of a legacy carried forward. They had defied the shadows of the past, crafting a story of resilience and hope in the bustling city that had witnessed it all.